Hi, everybody. I've had many of you private message me on Facebook, those of who are in other parts of the world, other states, and it's so humbling, and it makes me feel so nice that so many of you care. And so I've been receiving so many private messages since yesterday, and your concerns. We've been hearing your concerns and a lot of your, you know, I don't know, just worried about us, and I really, really appreciate that. And so we are hunkering down. You know, that's a term you use whenever you are, you know, amongst hurricanes and such. So we're here, and you know, we're watching the storm, and we are preparing. You know, we have the kids outside putting the garbage cans in the garage and all our swimming stuff in the garage so things aren't flying and stuff. And so I know a lot have been asking. Thank you, Gary. We really appreciate that. And, you know, we haven't had a hurricane this big, I think, since, what did they say, 2008, 2009 or something. And it's one of those things. I had a friend that's in Corpus, actually, and I was reading her status and how she was not able to make it out because, you know, a lot of people think at the same time. And so, you know, I know we have a lot of Texas friends that are going through some of the same things, and you know, it's one of these things where you're grateful for having, you know, prepared, grateful for having prepared on some. So, but you know, we had the kids fill our 5-gallon jugs and all of our every thermos that we could find, and they're filling. You know, the water bottles that we have, and we're going to make one more run, I think, to Kroger just to see what's there. But you know, we're fine, and we're watching the news, and we're watching things, and you know, we're expected to possibly lose power. So what am I doing in the midst of it right now is I'm writing my missionary son a letter, because I normally write him on Sundays. And last time we had a hurricane, my oldest son Brandon was on a mission, and we were in a small town, and I remember, you know, our electricity went out, our Wi-Fi went out, and it was hot and miserable. And I remember my son, I mean, he teases me to this very day that I didn't receive a letter from you every single week. So I have a list of things that we're doing to prepare, and one of the things on my top priority is writing my missionary son, because, you know, we write him weekly. You know, those who are following, he is serving in Uruguay. He's in, actually, he's in the, thank you, Nancy. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the love and concern and prayers. I feel so humbled. Like I say, I've had so many of you guys on private message me, you know, telling me that you're thinking about us and praying for us and stuff. And so, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, you know, you... when you make the decision to stay, then you prepare, right? You prepare yourself. So we have some of our grandkids here. So one of the ways that you prepare is you basically have, you know, you think about the little kids. When my kids were little and we had hurricanes, you know, we had crayons and paper and, you know, non-electronics. I think that we are so into this electronic world, you know, with our Wi-Fi, and you know, the Wi-Fi goes down, and you know, we all start freaking out. And so you look at this as a time where, you know, you can do certain things of going back to how it was when I was little, where, you know, you went out, you basically did things. Thank you, Grace. You do things that are, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of journaling and stories and cards and coloring and you know, just we have we're keeping our phones charged. We're keeping our phones charged. We're keeping our computers charged. Our portable batteries. All our cars are filled with gas. And you know, I think last time, like I say, this happened. You know, the flooding and everything is what's the scary part in this area, because they have, you know, we live near the Brazos River, and some of the alligators were being displaced onto people's front porches. So that was kind of scary. So, you know, this is a great reminder of something that we practice in our church, even, like to be prepared, you know, for the times. And I think that, you know, we had some water already before, and we added some more. And, you know, you have your flashlights and your battery. We even have those flashlights that crank, you know, that you can just turn and crank. Yes, you guys be safe. Thank you, Leonardo. That's so nice to say. We're all trying to get our showers in and be ready because, you know, we don't know, you know, with everything that's going on. So, you know, it's one of those things, like I say, where you think about, you know, like when things like this happen, it makes you think about the future, right? And what you're supposed to do and during these times, and to be prepared for the next one, right? To have your flashlights and to have your food and to have everything. So we even have, you know, we have a grill and we have 2 big things of propane. And so if worse comes to worse, you know, you just eat things cold. The good news is, you know, I've been doing a lot of green juice powder, and actually, you know, I guess for the next 2 or 3 days, if, you know, we can't cook or whatever, then I'm okay with that. And that, believe, you know, that and my ketones and everything, it keeps me full. So, you know, you think about this time and you think about the time of using it for reflection and you know, like I say, you know, it's one of those things where even though you think about evacuating, so does everybody else. And so then you have to ask yourself, I remember the last time we had this happen, we were living in Winnie, Texas, and we were in a hotel because we were in the process of either buying a house or building one, because we removed back there, and we had a hurricane come. I don't remember which hurricane it was. I don't know if it's Hurricane Ike. I can't remember. But we decided, we had our, you know, 4 or 5, 6 kids, and we loaded them up. And I remember it took us literally 2 hours to move 5 miles. And so we decided to go back, you know, and stay in the hotel. And so you have to, you know, these are the type of things that, you know, you have to think ahead of time. And, you know, we've been through many hurricanes, we've been through many storms. And like I say, I appreciate so much. Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate so much. The name of the green juice powder, Nancy, I take the Organifi one. And, you know, if you go to Organifi.com, there's actually a coupon code that you can get. And I think it's like 20% off. I don't remember, but I love it. It's the best tasting. It has amazing ingredients. I'm not affiliated with it, so I'm not selling you anything, but it is put on by Drew Canoli, and he has some amazing ingredients in it that you can take. And you know, it helps make me, it really, number one, it gives me energy. It helps me feel better. And, you know, during times like this, it makes me, you know, I mean, my kids can eat and stuff, but I'm like, I literally can take green juice, you know, for my meals, and I'm completely fine. I've been actually incorporating intermittent fasting. It's funny how this video has turned into something like that, where I'm talking about it. But yeah, you know, you think about that. You think about what are some of the things that you need to store, you know, for survival and to stay happy. And, you know, it's interesting, like I say, like when I was little, you know, we didn't have Wi-Fi and all this kind of stuff to keep us busy. And so, you know, we still have some of the grandkids, and my kids are older now. And, you know, some of the grandkids, you have to think about those kind of things, right? You think about what activities can you do to keep them happy, because you can't go outside and play, you know, it's raining. I mean, I guess you can play in the rain, but it's dangerous, it's windy. But we are ready, you know, we are as ready as we can be. And pretty much, I'm just so, I feel so much gratitude for some of you who have reached out and, you know, told me that you're praying for our family, and for those in Houston and those all around Texas. I'm really concerned about some of my friends who were not able to get out of Corpus Christi. And so thank you, Rhonda. I think we're going to be fine. I think, you know, of course, you know, there is, you know, you do feel some sort of anxiety about it, because, you know, I've been through this before, and, you know, a little bit of wind and everything. But I think we have enough water, and, you know, I think that, like I say, we're going to go to the grocery and see how much they've restocked, and, you know, bring that. But we really do. We have what we need, and we're so thankful for your prayers. I know that helps a lot. And so, yeah, I guess I just wanted to get on here because I'm not sure, you know, where our electricity is expected to go off, probably this evening. And so, I had some of you privates message me saying, I'm going to miss your daily video. So here's your daily video for the day. And amongst talking about, just hunkering down is a term that we use here in Texas and maybe wherever you are, about preparing for a major hurricane really this hurricane is, it's pretty bad. And so, I'm thinking, thank you, Stephen. We really appreciate that. And so, the kids are all outside, and they're, like I say, they're bringing everything in from the pool area, so we don't have chairs flying around, and all our garbage cans. My husband is making one more last trip to Kroger while we're washing all the clothes, telling everybody to take showers. I'm doing my last minute Wi-Fi stuff. I'm actually making this a priority to write my son an email, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, because to me that's priority, that he gets to hear from me in case I can't. And so those of you who are weathering the storm, I hope you guys are preparing as well, and thinking about those things, especially if you have little children, what keeps them happy, little things that can, what are some activities, we rely so much on Wi-Fi and electricity that we don't think about what are some of the things that we can do. Like I say, I have 3 or 4 of my grandkids here, and my son may come, who we have 2 other grandkids. So you think about those kind of things. You think about what kind of things can make them happy, because whenever, like I say, us as older people, I'll spend a lot of time, writing or working on my business, and and having meetings with my daughter about stuff, and journaling, and but you think about it makes you think about the little kids, right? Because I've raised 8 kids, right? And as we went through several hurricanes, that was my biggest challenge, believe it or not. It wasn't so much like, do we have enough water, do we have enough food? It was more like, how do I keep them happy? And it was things like coloring books and Old Maid, some of the things that we did when we were little, you go back to the basics, right? And that's one thing that I shouldn't say I love about storms and stuff, but it's interesting whenever you get rid of the electronics, what it does, and it's interesting, the mood that it puts you in too, because when we went through the hurricane a few years ago, when we lost electricity, it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch the, the attitudes of those around you whenever Wi-Fi goes down. And when you can't watch movies, and when you can't be on your computer, and you can't be on your phones, then you turn back to what we had when I was little, right? And so you think about those things on, keeping yourself. I think that's one of the things that I try and teach my kids too, is like, you try and think about, and whenever times are not easy, whenever times get a little bit uncomfortable, how do you keep your, you have to keep your disposition, right? You have to, I guess, be grateful for what you have. We have a house that we still have, and we have food and water, and we have each other, and we have things that we can be doing that are non-electricity, right? And that's what you have to think about. And that's a good test of time. A good test is, how are you whenever your electricity goes out? Do you get grumpy? Do you, that's where you have to be strong, right? And you have to realize that it doesn't help, to have a bad attitude about it. It doesn't help to get grumpy about not having Wi-Fi. Of all people, it's really hard for me not to have Wi-Fi. I work on it. I do a lot of things. And so, we have to have good spirits for each other, to be in as in the happiest of spirits that we can be in times like this, right? And so I encourage you, those who are not even hunkering down and weathering the storm, to think about, like the different things of when hard times hit, that is that is the test of time on our attitude, right? And so I try and be strong for my family. I'm the mom, the head of the household, as far as, trying to keep it happy, right? And so how, the saying where it says, when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Well, that's where even you as individuals, even though you're not the mom, you still have to keep that disposition so that, those around you, they feel, how you are, they can tell if, you're a little bit distraught or whatever. Even your little grandkids as young as, one, what we have a little, the youngest one here is, he's going to be 1 in October. And so, I think it's a good lesson to be learned, not just, I wanted to get on here first to say thank you for those who reached out to tell us that you're thinking about us and praying for us. And secondly, because those of you have mentioned, the daily videos. And thirdly, it's basically encouraging you, in times like this to be in a good, in good spirits, the best that you can. I mean, of course, you do everything. If you decide to not evacuate, to have the things ready, right? To have all your supplies. But then once you have done everything that you can do, that's all you can do, right? And then that's when you just, you think, how can I, spend this time wisely, and then maybe it's the time that you can connect with your family more. It's interesting because you're not on your phones, you're not on your computers, you're not texting, none of that's going to work. And so then you make plan B, and that's what we're doing as a family right now. I'm emailing my son on his mission. I'm writing in my 5-minute journal. I'm thinking of things that we're going to be doing as a family later, because there's not going to be movies, and you may lose your, you're not going to have your lights, and so you're going to have candles, and you're going to have your, your flashlights. And so then you change it over and you say, instead of thinking, how miserable it can be, and it is scary. I'm not saying that it's not, but then I think we're going to get mostly flood rains and stuff, which is still scary. But I'm saying that, and you think about all that and you do all you can. But then in the midst of it all, if you decide that, I'm just going to be here with my family, then you move to the next step and you say, how am I, what is my attitude and how I weather this storm? Right? Thank you, Paola. We are trying to stay as safe as we can, and we appreciate you guys' prayers and thoughts. So anyway, I wanted to say a quick hello for those who are in Texas and those who are, about our, in the midst of this all, of the craziness of, getting gas and water and getting your supplies. I haven't actually gone out since yesterday morning because I just don't want to fight it all. But we are doing all the things that we can as much as we can. So I hope you guys who, like I say, who are hunkering down, who have decided not to evacuate, that you are taking this time to do everything you can. And then once you can, the next step. Anyway, my husband's calling in. I will let you guys go. Hopefully I can put another report into you later. Take care.